This is called Project Drive Sober, and for the next many months, we are dedicated to sharing stories, saving lives, and keeping Wisconsin's roads safe.
And it all starts right now. Here's Shannon Sims.
This is where the decision starts. For some of you, it's at the bar. For others, it may be a friend's house or maybe the parking lot tailgating. But take a look at this. 4 bottles of beer. That's how many drinks a 180-pound man can drink in about an hour to be legally impaired. In Wisconsin, that's anything over 0.08. And the average 140-pound woman, just 2. If you make the decision to drive after drinking, it could affect more people than you think. And no one knows that better than Marla Hall of Waterloo. This is Marla's story.
Since I've had it, I don't take it off.
Marla Hall holds tight to the memory of her son, Clinton.
He was at the Fonz.
Images of the 26-year-old through the years adorn every corner of Hall's Waterloo home.
He'd walk in and then he'd come over and he'd pick me up and throw me over his shoulders, you know.
Those visits and nightly calls after a long day of work, she misses more and more these days. To fill the deafening silence of his absence, she plays a video recording every night before she goes to sleep.
I'm gonna miss you in Atlanta. Love Pleasant.
2 years ago on November 2nd,
Like my worst nightmare had come true.
the world as Marla knew it came to a screeching halt.
I had to call the medical examiner, and all I kept was screaming, "Tell me it's not true, tell me it's not true." And she kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Clinton was riding home with his co-workers from a work trip in La Crosse. They were an hour from home when State Trooper Sergeant Craig Morehouse heard a dispatcher warning of an impaired driver swerving on I-94 near Deerfield.
And I was trying to catch up to the vehicle when all of a sudden I had headlights coming at me in the left lane of the interstate.
Minutes later, court records say Bryson Wilson slammed head-on into 2 cars.
But as the details started coming out,
I was furious. We know what bar he was at and what he was drinking, beer and shots. And 30 minutes later when he left, he killed them. Killed 4 people instantly.
Marla's son Clinton, his co-workers Kimberly Radke, and his girlfriend Katie Pasqualini all died on impact, along with the driver of the second car.
Well, why couldn't it have been me? He had his whole life ahead of him.
Bryson Wills was deemed incompetent to stand trial because of his injuries from the crash. His trial has been indefinitely suspended. Marla refused to let Clinton's death be in vain, so she took her concerns to lawmakers in Madison.
In the first hearing I went to, which was probably, it was 4 or 5 months after the crash, and it was very emotional, and I told them, the blood of my son is on your hands. Because they won't do anything for drunk driving. If they would pass some stricter laws as other states, because we are the most lenient, how many lives would be saved? Innocent lives.
Wisconsin is the only state in the nation where your first offense is a traffic ticket. Marla turned her pain into action, creating the Eliminate Drunk Driving Education Foundation.
And I never realized there were so many out there making that decision 24/7.
That decision to get behind the wheel drunk is a problem this mom is willing to take on.
So we want to see Wisconsin make first offense OWI a misdemeanor.
Marla knows she will never see her son grow old, get married, or have grandchildren. But for Clinton and others, she continues to fight.
Oh, I can't give up. If I give up, I'll just... It just seems so unreal still to this day.
Marla's story is a powerful story, but it's not the only one. We'll talk to a number of families over the course of Project Drive Sober. We'll also look at the arrests, prosecution, and so much more. Look, we're not saying don't go out and have a good time and don't drink. We're just saying if you drink, make the choice to not drive. That decision is yours.